Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with PaperStampInk. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to share with you 3 cards made using the Daisy Lane Cling Stamp Set. So whether you're a beginner, a casual, or an avid stamper, there's going to be a card design in here for you. Let's go ahead and move these off to the side and talk about our paper, stamp, and ink, and then we'll get started. So for the paper, I have a card base. That is our standard 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 to create a top folding card. I've got a matting layer of the Granny Apple Green, and this is at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I have the layer we're going to be stamping on, which is the Whisper White, and that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I then have a scrap piece of Whisper White and a scrap piece of Daffodil Delight. I love this color combination of Granny Apple Green and Daffodil Delight. It's just a very cheerful, bright color combination and a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and talk about our stamp set. It's the Daisy Lane stamp set, and this comes with a coordinating punch that will punch out the smaller of these images. Now, this set also is a great match with a previous stamp set that's still active in the catalog, the Daisy Delight stamp set, which also has a coordinating punch. Now, because these have been in there, they're no longer a bundle, and this large one will also punch out this large daisy. But these two are a bundle right now in the catalog, so when you purchase them, you're going to save 10% when you buy the bundle. Let's move this out of the way and talk about our ink. I've got the Daffodil Delight and Granny Apple Green to coordinate with our papers. Love that color coordination from Stampin' Up. Makes it so easy to do our stamping. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do the Avid Stamper one all the way through, but I'm going to talk you through the first two as we go. I'm going to start with some Daffodil Delight and stamp that daisy. This is the same step on all 3 of these cards, and I'm going to put it fairly close to the top there, but not all the way up. And now I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to do the stems, or stem, I guess I should say. I love the detailed lines that we get from this image. All of that is just ingrained into that rubber stamp. So now on the beginner card, I stamped the sentiment down here using the Daffodil Delight for the smile stamp, and It's Your Time to Shine in Granny Apple Green, and matted this onto the Granny Apple Green layer. That's all I did, other than on the inside adding a little daisy down there. So that was our simple version. Stepped it up a little bit for the casual stamper, and with this one I stamped the small daffodil. Let's go ahead and we're going to do that for this card as well. So let's go ahead and grab this out here, and I'm going to stamp that smaller one and get my punch and punch that out. So easy to line these up here. Just take your time to get a nice edge. And then I used my bone folder, and I did just a little bit of curling to give some depth. Place that on there. Used some of the glitter enamel dots. Escaped my brain for a moment. That has some Granny Apple Green colors in there. And I placed 3 of those around, remembering to work in your odd numbers. And then I did the same stamping of the sentiment as we did on the first one. So that was our casual stamper. Now for the Avid Stamper, I'm going to bring in, and I don't know if you could see in that original picture, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer. I'm going to bring in some embossing with the embossing folder. This is the new scripty I think it's called Scripty Embossing Folder or Script Embossing Folder. And it just has that beautiful script detail. I'm going to put these off to the side. All right, I'm back here with my Big Shot, and I have this open to tab 1. Now you're going to have to pay attention to your specific die cutting machine to determine what your platform is or what the proper sandwich is for you. I've got the embossing folder here, and this is one of the new 3D embossing folders. This gives us a lot of nice dimension. I love that Stampin' Up! Has given us this line to make it easier to line our paper up. So I'm going to go ahead and sandwich that right in there. And this is the new plate that Stampin' Up! Has come with. Now, with this catalog, we are now designing our own, manufacturing our own embossing folders. So these are slightly thinner than the old dynamic 3D embossing folders, but they're going to give you that same depth of texture. So we have a new plate that has come out in the catalog that gives us just a little bit thicker piece there to get a better impression. Now, if you don't have this plate, you can put a shim of a couple pieces of paper, 1 or 2. Just play with it. You never want to feel like you're forcing things through your machine. So that's a tip. However, don't think that just because you're not feeling a lot of pressure, this goes through so smooth that you're not going to get a really good impression. So I'm going to show you that went through very easily, yet I've still got all of that beautiful detail on there. Let me put this out of the way and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Let's finish putting this card together. I did go ahead and also emboss that die cut of, or that punched out image of the daisy. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of curling of the edges there. I'm just being a really light touch because I don't want to get rid of all of that embossing on there. And we're just going to lay this down, and I'm going to stagger those petals. There we go. Thankfully that's going to dry clear. Do not use as much Tombow Mono Multi as I just did. Next, I'm going to go ahead and layer this onto the Granny Apple Green piece of cardstock. Again, using my Tombow Mono Multi makes it easy. I can shift and shimmy that to get it in the right spot. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of this Granny Apple Green, but let me go ahead and stamp our sentiments so I can get those out of the way, the ink pads out of the way. I've got my smile that I'm going to do in Daffodil Delight. And we're going to punch that out with the pretty label punch. There we go. And then I'm going to use that piece of Daffodil Delight scrap, and with that I'm going to punch out the It's Your Time to Shine, or stamp out It's Your Time to Shine with the Granny Apple Green. There we go. And then I'm going to use the classic label punch on this one. I love this punch here, and I've got that going a little crooked on the paper, but that doesn't matter, right? Because we're gonna come right in here with the punch. So that's why I always stamp first, punch second, if at all possible. And I'm gonna get these ink pads out of the way. And let's bring in our glitter enamel dots. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to place those on, and I'm going to use 3 of those in a varying sizes. I think that just adds interest when we have the different sizes, as well as the number of them, having an odd number. Now, my favorite way to attach ribbon is actually to use my tear and tape. So I just find that easier than trying to lay something down and then putting the ribbon over it. I find it much easier to just lay this over the top of the ribbon. So I'm gonna kind of go about there. I want to make sure I go up high enough so I can get my punch not hanging off the bottom of the card. I'm gonna wrap that around and let's give it a trim. I want to leave enough of a tail so I'm not trying to stretch too hard to make that work. And we're going to wrap that around and put our tear and tape on there. I love this beautiful granny apple green ribbon. And then we're going to bring in some dimensionals. And I'm actually wanting to place these large ones at the very top and the very bottom of this so that I have enough room to go on either side to straddle that ribbon there. So think about that before you place your dimensionals, where they're going and what's going to be underneath if anything's going to be obstructing them. We're going to place that down there, and then I'm going to come in with my glue, and I'm just going to put glue along the middle part there because those ends are going to hang off, and add that to the bottom of the punched piece. And now all we have to do is layer that onto our card base, making sure we've got it going the right direction. Always take a moment to figure that out. Now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and pop this whole panel up with dimensions as well, but I think I've got enough with these glitter enamel dots and the second punch with the daisy and then my sentiment that I'm not going to worry about that. And shimmy that a little bit over to the side there, get that nice and straight. Let's open this up. I'm going to bring back my Daffodil Delight ink, and I think I'm going to use, you know what, I think I want to use the large. I think I want to use the large daisy this time to go down in the corner there and just dress that up a little bit. And there we go. We've got our Avid Stamper version. Let me bring those other two back in for you again. Show you just how adding a few little extra embellishments or punches, embossing folders can really step your cards up. I think these are all beautiful, so whether you're just starting out and have just a few items, you can still make some gorgeous cards with the Stampin' Up! Products. Get a little bit more, become a casual stamper, and if you're an avid stamper and somebody who's got to have it all, you need to become one of my team members. Whether you want to do it as a discount shopper or a business builder, I'd love to help you with that. And right now in July, we've got a great special going on where you can get an extra $30 in free products. You always get $25 of extra free product when you sign up for only $99. You get $125. Now you're going to get $155 of product for only $99, free shipping. You get a bonus coupon to spend in August for $10, and your purchases are 20% or more off. If you're interested in more information on that program, you can hop over to my website at the link below or send me an email at paperstampink@gmail.com. Whether you're interested in becoming a business builder or a discount shopper, I'd love to help you out. Until we talk again, grab your paper, stamp, and ink, and do something creative.